that may have been still connected to me. So Tamara, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity to co-create and to share more of your amazing and beautiful work with all of us wonderful light workers. I know we had the opportunity the other day to listen to this very lovely mini sexual healing activation that Tamara did. And what we did there is that we went and, we just went back timelines, karmic timelines, retrieving keys from past partners, lovers, whatever it may be. And, as Tamara said, apart from some of us feeling those frequencies and really just deepening into what's moving through our own bodies and what's been cleared and healed and released, sometimes we don't really feel much, but we sometimes experience at different times just these thoughts coming to mind. And I know for me, a couple of days later, I thought of my first partner who I hadn't thought about for years and years. And I realized that this was part of this clearing work, and it was just so incredible, absolutely amazing. Because I just did this little invocation and blessing and, truly just released all the energy or residual energy that may have been still connected to me. So it was just realizing how absolutely powerful this work is that Tamara does. And of course, I know that she's been doing it for some years, and her testimonials and her work experience, and of course, all her beautiful books and teachings speak volumes to all the incredible work. So thank you, Tamara.
Thank you, honey. Happy to be here again.
Yes, wonderful. So what I thought I'll do is I'll start with a small sacred space setting for us, and then Tamara will take us through her incredible sacred sexual healing activations, which we're doing today on the sacred vagina and the magical penis. And that is really such an important part of our work as we just deepen into our own magnificent light, into the intimacy of our own hearts, and into just the nurturing and love of self and appreciation of self is really such a big part of that too. To experience intimacy with others is to experience intimacy with ourselves first, and to really just completely appreciate our sacred vaginas and our magical penises and every part of our body. And when we have areas of discomfort within the body based on false beliefs or judgments or abuse or trauma, betrayal, whatever it may be, we're experiencing that impacts every area of our life, including that area of intimacy in not only relationships, but also in that connection to ourselves as we block up those emotions. And so as we start to work with those emotions and maybe clear those areas within ourselves that experience period pains or frigidity or impotence or sacred iliac joint pains, all these lower areas, including even the lower back and the hip area, and the areas of fertility within ourselves. Then as we just deepen into the experience of simply releasing and surrendering and loving all that arises and seeing the blessing in all that arises, what we start to experience is that natural healing, sacred sexual energy of what the Kundalini and Tantric channels start to ignite and activate through the body. And that is part of the work that I will be doing with us, following Tamara's wonderful sacred sexual healing activations. So just take a couple of minutes to just center ourselves and come together as this group, as one heart and one love. And I always say for me, one of the most powerful ways to do that, and coming together in unity and community, is just through the breath itself. Because that breath just allows us to just deepen into the body, into how we're feeling. And as we just breathe through the body, not only do we have a deeper sense of being the observer, the beloved I am observing, the witness, but through that too, we also have a sense of deepening into higher dimensional light frequencies, into greater levels of our own soul connection, into greater levels of experiencing the realms of human truth. And with that, of course, the cosmic heart of love, the heart of Mother, Father, God, and our own beloved I am presence, our higher self, our soul light. So as we just take a moment through this breath to deepen into the stillness of our loving hearts, just breathe in love, breathe out love. Expand the lower abdomen on the in-breath. We contract the lower abdomen on the out-breath. And as we breathe in, we breathe in through the mouth or the nose, and we breathe out through the mouth. So this first level breath, simply just having a sense of how we're feeling as we start to even move the body a little bit, passively from side to side and backwards and forwards, just sensing and feeling into the levels of comfort or discomfort within our own bodies, depending on how we're fine-tuning our bodies at this time, if we're eating the right foods, if we're getting the right food, is coming up for us. We need to looking at and we just breathe in love, breathe out love. If there's any areas of discomfort for us, find ourselves starting to gently move the body into those areas, and we can hold the breath to breathe in love, and we hold the breath for as long as we can, and then we breathe it out. And this just allows a deep release of whatever those emotions or feelings are that we're just needing to shift within ourselves at this time. So that breath is just simply breathing in love, holding the breath for as long as we can, and then breathing out through the mouth on it. Just have a sense of this beautiful golden rose igniting and activating within our loving heart. This is the rose of the Christos Sophia codes of light, the Magdalene Yeshua energy of the feminine masculine energy of our inner alchemical marriage to of our divine masculine and divine feminine spirits. And within this golden rose, we now activate 12 golden petals. Petals of the peaceful heart, the loving heart, the healing heart, the joyful and happy heart, the innocent and open heart, powerful heart, the knowing heart, the passionate heart, overflowing and prosperous heart, the trusting heart, the heart of integrity and truth, and now the intimate heart. And as we deepen into the intimate heart, we sense this beautiful golden and pink flame of divine love ignite within the loving heart and deepen now to each one of the chakras and body parts. And as this beautiful golden and pink flame activates around us now, connects into the unity grid of divine love, the grid of light within us and around us. It connects us into the heart of divine love and into the heart of divine love with one another, because we have a sense now of connecting through the heart of love. It's one heart, one love, and one unified field of light. To all those listening with us in the Sacred Sexual Healing Telewebinar. All those listening to this recording, and now all awakened souls, ready to receive these healing currents of life, ready to shift, ready to awaken, ready to embody their intimacy, their love, their divinity, walking this path of love, walking this path of the rose. There's this beautiful golden, pink, and now diamond flame that ignites within us and around us, creates a sphere of light 54 feet in diameter around us, linking us into our own divine light body. We join in the circle of light. As this flame continues to expand now, touches the hearts of all awakened and awakening souls, continues to move outwards, upwards, around, into the earth, to nature, nature, spirit, intelligence, and now connecting into the ascended realms. To the angelic realms, to the galactic realms, and into the cosmic heart of Mother, Father, God. With this beautiful golden pink and diamond flame amplifies as a threefold flame of power, love, and wisdom, and now ignites in our own loving heart into these beautiful petals of our loving heart. We are centered, relaxed, fully present within our loving heart, ready to experience these sacred sexual healing activations as we focus on this last breath, sucking in through the mouth as though sucking in through a straw and blowing out. Allowing for this connection and alignment to the cosmic heart of God and our beloved I Am Presence, and into the crystal heart of Mother Earth. We are centered in the heart of love. So Kundalini and Tantric channels gently activate as we commence the sacred sexual healing activations. And so it is. And so it is. Ikoakina siahia. Ikaino koa.
It's so beautiful, thank you. Okay, you guys ready for me? We're gonna do some shifts. First, what I want to work on is clearing traumas from sexual abuse, from maybe being raped or attacked as a child or whatever that is, because those leave core wounds within us. And it keeps us from really being able to open up and to really express love and accept love from our lovers. And you know, one reason why I really wanted to do this, I mean, there's so many reasons, but one is so many people just go around having sex for pleasure and not really having that connection and that love. And you know, sacred sex is the most powerful energy on the planet. There's no more powerful energy on the planet than making love. So when you're making love and you're connecting into that beautiful energy with your mate, it sends up this vibration of connectedness and togetherness throughout the whole world. And when we're just going out and having sex for having sex, it actually like leaves like this empty feeling and the separation feeling. So since we're all one and we're all connected, I invite you to honor yourself and to honor others and to make love to somebody you connect with. I'm not saying you have to be in a relationship forever or have a piece of paper that says you're married or anything else like that, because that's just a piece of paper. What the connection is about the heart and about the love and that experience. And that's what's so important. And there's so many things. I mean, got a big list here of what I'm going to do. But I want to start off with is clearing post-traumatic stress for sexual abuse. Because that's going to help you to be able to get into your heart space, to be able to create that love. Now, what I do and how I do it, because some of this isn't all just my clients, so I need to explain myself a little bit, excuse me. I always seem to just jump in. Tamara Oviatt here, and what I do is I clear energies. I connect to what I call God energy, or the eye of God. And I clear timelines, future, past lives. I clear it through the genetics, and also through the collective consciousness or subconsciousness of humanity. Because if you know that we're all one and 95% of our lives are ran by our subconsciousness, that means the world is also ran by the subconsciousness of humanity. So when I'm clearing you through all of these levels, and what happens, it helps the whole connection of humanity, because we are one. So it puts that spark of light and that love within the collective subconsciousness of humanity to help spread that energy or clear that energy. And, you know, a lot of what I do is call it secret activations, but they're also deactivations. And what's going to happen is it's going to be clearing hundreds, even thousands of belief systems, and it'll start clearing you right away. Sometimes not for a couple days that it'll start coming up. Sometimes you might feel a little traumatized, and sometimes you don't. So I'm just letting you know, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed in a couple days, that's okay, because it's going to pass. So honor and respect those around you and yourself. And once this energy clears, it doesn't recreate. So just allow it to go, and it will go. Not allow it to go, because it's just going to go. And sometimes it's going to bring up experiences and belief systems and stuff, and you're going to see them, or those feelings. And then you're going to notice that that attachment to those feelings is no longer there. And then it just doesn't show up anymore, because it's no longer one of your program. So it'll disappear. So I'm going to be doing a lot of clearing, and then we're going to be activating your pheromones. We're going to be activating your sacred penis or your magical penis, and also your magical vagina. Just really bringing that energy and opening up that energy, because I had an email from a man the other day, said, you know, if you did a webinar to grow a man's penis by a couple of inches, I bet there'd be a lot of people on. And, you know, that's a belief system that you have to have a large penis. And it's a belief system with men and women, and then men don't feel like they're enough. Trust me, you're enough. So it's about honoring and respecting yourself and what you're bringing to the table. So we're going to clear those energies also, so that you can really feel like you are enough, so that when you're connecting, who knows, maybe it will grow by a couple inches. Let me know if it does. But again, it's all about the experience, the love, and receiving. And then also with like early ejaculation, I did this webinar about 3 years ago. God told me to do it on early ejaculation. I didn't know what to say. So it was completely and totally channeled. And what I found out during the activation I did was that it was about not being able to really open up and experience that love. So they can only accept so much love. Because again, making love is sacred, and it opens your heart in that connection. And if you're not used to accepting that or experiencing that, you know, you'll shut it down, or you'll sabotage it in some way because it's overwhelming to you. So we're going to clear that out too, so that you can have that experience, so that you can make love and really enjoy yourself in that love. Okay. So now that you know who I am and what I'm going to do, while I'm doing this, I am silent. And what I'm going to be doing, like I'm going to say, post-traumatic stress for sexual abuse. just allow your thoughts, feelings, or emotions, whatever happens, happens. You cannot do this wrong. Okay? And I'm silent, and then I'll say something else. And then if you're still focused on this one thing and I move off onto something else, that's okay. Again, you can't do this wrong, but I'm letting you know what I'm running. And how I do this now, because I've got like 15, 20 here, is I install them in a blueprint. It's a sacred blueprint. I install these activations and deactivations for you and connect you into this. And then what happens is a couple will be running, and then when those are clear, then more will activate, and then more and more and more. That way we're not overwhelming your system and your thought process. So again, these activations seriously can be running for a couple weeks or even a couple months without even having to re-listen to it. You're welcome to re-listen to it, but I definitely suggest you wait 3 days before you do that. Okay? So, because I want you to see how you experience it and how it affects you before you listen again. So, I'm going to get started now, and I'm starting with post-traumatic stress for sexual abuse. And then I will go down my list. So, again, I'm going to be quiet, and here I go. This works if you feel like you took advantage of somebody or you were taken advantage of. So it doesn't matter what side of that game you are on. This will help you also if you were the one that you felt that you misused your energy in some way. Okay, I'm moving into what I call guilty pleasures. If there's things you do that you judge yourself on and it's in between two consented adults, but you feel guilty about it because it's not in the realm of acceptance from your church or your family or your culture, let's clear that out. So you're not judging yourself. Be clearing shame, guilt, and judgment.
light transmission, clearing and revitalizing your etheric body, and breathing and opening and softening, relaxing. And with your breath, feeling your connection to the universe around you, On the in-breath, inviting in the light of the stars into every cell of the body. On the out-breath, releasing any lower energies you're carrying in the cellular system, the cells of the body. Purging it back to the stars. Allowing more of your own soul light into the cells of the body. And with your breath, inviting the light of the stars, the sun, the earth, into the bones of your body. All joints, all vertebrae, from top of skull down to the ends of toes and fingers. Purging and releasing any energies from the mutant matrix, the 3D matrix, out of your system, any lower energies of fear, anger, anxiety, shame, guilt. Purging from your system on the out-breath. On the in-breath, feeling your connection to the universe around you through the web of light. Into the blood of your body. On the out-breath, purging it from the blood producing parts that need to be released back to the universe. Allowing more of your own soul's light into the body. Just following that side of the breath. Tide of light from the stars, the sun, and the earth. A gentle wave or tide coming into the body. From the out-breath, allowing that tide to recede, taking with it anything of a lower nature. Leaving more of your own soul's light in the body. And I call now your team in spirit of the highest light resonance. Higher self, I am presence, your oversoul. All archangels and angels. All guides. All star races and councils. Galactic council. All Elohim, come be with you. Feel the connection of light in your field. And let's call to the horizontal plane, those archangels holding your energy in the horizontal plane. In the east, Raphael, magician, healer, evoking that symbol, the caduceus, that crystal wand, those two golden serpents, and where they meet near the top, the two golden wings. Focus on that symbol, called Emerald Ring of Fire. Holding the space. Allow that fire into the mental body. As that is happening, let's call to Michael of the South, warrior, protector, guardian, angel. The symbol is the sword of light, and as you focus on the symbol, you invoke electric blue fire into the space to hold your space, to create sacred space. silver chalice. As you focus on the silver chalice, you invoke the energy of diamond white fire to hold the space. Three archangels, three energies that breathe. And the fourth angel, Uriel of the north, of earth, of structure, of power and light. The symbol is a golden pentacle, a five-pointed star in a circle of light. As you focus on the symbol, you invite the energy of the angel, which is ruby red fire, into your space. Four archangels, four energies, holding the horizontal plane. And breathe and expand your light, breathe and expand your light. And open to be held in this light, to be held in this light. And let's call the two archangels of the vertical force, which is Metatron and Sandalphon. Metatron bring down that golden white grid from the great central sun into the space, into the room, closing all openings. Sealing all openings to any lower level, lower dimension. And bring that energy into your field, all the way down to your heart, and anchor it into your heart. And let's call for Sandalphon, crystalline, diamond white grid. Bring up that energy into the space. Through your feet and torso. Up into the heart, anchoring into the heart. Six archangels, six energies, and feel the space held. Feel the space held, containing your energy, protecting your energy. And breathing and opening. And then call and invoke into your energy field a portal of light, a gateway of light. And that gateway may appear as a mirror of shimmering light, a mirror, a great mirror, as tall as you. Somewhere in your energy field, go find that gateway, that portal. Find that portal. Stand in front of that portal. On the other side, another dimensional landscape. When you're ready, step through the portal. Step through the portal. And find yourself in another landscape. Open your inner senses. Your sense of seeing colour, shape and form. Hearing sound and silence. Feeling, touching, intuiting, knowing. Tasting, smelling. And allow the landscape to rise up around you. Whether that landscape be green or rocky or icy or some otherworldly landscape, allow it to rise up around you, feel your feet on the ground. And somewhere in this landscape, a path. Somewhere a path. Enter the landscape, take a step, enter the landscape. And find the path, find the path. Follow the path, and this path will eventually begin to ascend, as if going up a hill, a gentle hill. So follow that path up the hill, and when you reach the crest, notice the hill descends downwards. Landscape is a structure, a tower of stone, a tall tower of stone. Begin to descend towards that tower. That tower may look any way it wishes. It represents your own chakra system along the spine, from the earth upwards. Approach that tower. Find the entrance and enter the tower. And within the tower there is a spiral staircase. This staircase represents your inner channel along the spine. Before we go up, we're going to go down. Down into the Earth Star channel. Follow the spiral staircase down. Descending deep into the earth. Descending into your Earth Star chamber, which may appear large, perhaps rocky. There might be a ethereal light here. Allow the light to grow. And somewhere in this chamber, find a pool of crystalline diamond white energy that may look like water. Go find that pool. Stand beside the pool and feel the energy of the earth. Feel the energy of the earth. And then call into this chamber Archangel Sandalphon and all angels working with that angel. Hold the space. And I summon the earth energy, allowing this pool to perhaps swell. Perhaps this energy begins to move and expand into the chamber. Perhaps the energy fills the whole chamber with a great perhaps the energy rises and begins to swirl around in great spiraling movements. Feel your connection to the earth energy, the crystalline earth energy, as held by Sandalphon and all angels and devas working with Sandalphon. This energy is a liberating force of change. It has great gentleness and power. Watch as the crystalline energy begins to expand and cleanse the chamber. Releasing any bloodline energies that may need to be cleared here, any bloodline energies that may need to be cleared, any ancestral energies, any ancestral patterns you're holding in this chakra. Ascension News 5D relationships. This seems an appropriate time of year to address romantic relationships and how to move beyond some of the rather painful patterns found within the 3D mutant matrix. In this ascending Earth, we are healing many of the schisms found within the separation ideology of this world. One of the main schisms is that of dependence and independence that affects so many in relationships. Dependence is an ego state of the child and emerging adolescent. We are all born into this world dependent on our caregivers for survival. Dependence is a state of need and vulnerability. As we grow, we are meant to pass through this state to the next. Of course, even as adults, we may experience time of dependence through illness, for example, or perhaps a parent who remains at home to look after children. But there's a more problematic form of dependence that creates a victim state of mind. Feeling a victim in life blocks any sense of personal power, personal responsibility, or resourcefulness, or meaningful action. A dependent adult is someone who overly relies on others, perhaps a family member, for emotional and or financial support. Dependent adults in relationships will most likely form an unhealthy codependent connection. The next ego level occurs in late adolescence and early adulthood, which is independence. Culturally, we are taught to value highly our independence, to be strong, to be guarded, to protect our vulnerability, to never get hurt, and even when you are hurt, to not show it, to never rely on others. Being fixated on independence has led many to experience quite lonely and disconnected realities and relationships. If we're conditioned to be fiercely independent, it may work well in a number of situations, but certainly not in romantic relationships. A fiercely independent person may even avoid relationships, or if they enter one, they may seem or feel distant or aloof or not emotionally connected to their partner. In our rather volatile world, starseeds with their innate sensitivity can feel wounded within families that do not understand them. Starseeds may experience trauma which fragments the child or adolescent parts and keep them stuck or frozen later in life in either dependent or independent mode. This, of course, needs to be healed before a major shift in relationships can occur. Two independent individuals can have a romantic relationship that's functional, but it certainly will lack a certain chemistry. Two dependent people can relate in a romantic relationship, which might be perhaps dramatic or completely dysfunctional, or perhaps one of the partners is forced to take a more independent role. Where the relationship becomes codependent, then self-destructive patterns can be present, such as a deep sense of obligation, obsession, emotional blackmail, abuse, self-sacrifice, a kind of zero quality to the communication between the two, control issues. There may be a struggle to maintain control or defend against the other. Such relationships will tend to generate blame, drama, disagreement, anxiety, anger, resentment, and guilt. There will probably be negative psychic cords connecting such a pair. There will probably be negative thought forms in the home where they dwell. There may well be psychic contracts binding the two, which can endure beyond this lifetime. As this world ascends in frequency, we are being called to find a new level of awareness and mastery within relationships. We could call this level interdependence, and this is a learning curve many starseeds have come here to experience. Often those on such a path will tend to experience the opposite first, although this is less true for the new wave of starseeds coming now into the planet. To give you an idea of the shift from codependent to independent, there are some things that need to occur at a personal level before such a relationship can be attracted and maintained. To move into this level, both individuals must attain a certain level of self-awareness, a certain connection to their authentic self, a certain willingness to embrace a higher frequency of love for self and other, a willingness to move beyond old patterns that create heartbreak, and a flexibility to adapt and grow. once the bonding occurs, an interdependent couple will feel connected and close. They will have a caring and a concern for each other. Their lives, to some extent, become entwined, yet there is a certain freedom which is gained within the commitment of being with the other person. There is a certain equality that each will experience. The love and support of the other enhances their sense of self and their confidence to follow their heart in the world. There's a greater consciousness around sexual energy, which is very important, and how it can be channeled to enhance the connection, or to invite a new high-frequency soul in the world. There's a tremendous honouring of differences and a great honesty of communication, which generates an atmosphere of creative play, intimacy and trust. An interdependent couple is essentially a win-win scenario, and this tends to produce an atmosphere of dynamic, fluid transformation. Within this relationship, old patterns probably will arise, yet they're dealt with in a way that allows for deep healing. There's a sense of newness and movement rather than the same old and stuckness. And of course conflict can arise, but it's dealt with creatively rather than destructively. Solutions are quickly found. There's an awareness of what we can call the beginner's mind rather than always wanting to appear right. Such a couple is able to dissolve the paradigm of separation, fear and scarcity in order that both can step into a greater flow of unity, consciousness and abundance. There is a holding and acceptance of vulnerability, thus shame is diminished and trust enhanced. A great spiritual teacher once said, relationships are the yoga of the West. We are not here to retreat from the world, we're here to engage in the world, and that means engaging with all manners of relationships. I do hope this little article has been helpful to you in some way. Much love. Ascension News 5D relationships. This seems an appropriate time of year to address romantic relationships and how to move beyond some of the rather painful patterns found within the 3D mutant matrix. In this ascending earth, we are healing many of the schisms found within the separation ideology of this world. One of the main schisms is that of dependence and independence that affects so many in relationships. Dependence is an ego state of the child and emerging adolescent. We are all born into this world dependent on our caregivers for survival. Dependence is a state of need and vulnerability. As we grow, we are able to pass through this state to the next. Of course, even as adults, we may experience time of dependence through illness, for example, or perhaps a parent who remains at home to look after children. But there's a more problematic form of dependence that creates a victim state of mind. Feeling a victim in life blocks any sense of personal power or personal responsibility or resourcefulness or meaningful action. A dependent adult is someone who overly relies on others, perhaps a family member, for emotional and or financial support. Dependent adults in relationships will most likely form an unhealthy codependent connection. The next ego level occurs in late adolescence and early adulthood, which is independence. Culturally, we are taught to value highly our independence, to be strong, to be guarded, to protect our vulnerability, to never get hurt, and even when you are hurt, to not show it, to never rely on others. Being fixated on independence has led many to experience quite lonely and disconnected realities and relationships. If we're conditioned to be fiercely independent, it may work well in a number of situations, but certainly not in romantic relationships. A fiercely independent person may even avoid relationships, or if they enter one, they may seem or feel distant or aloof, or not emotionally connected with their partner. In our rather volatile world, starseeds with their innate sensitivity can feel wounded within families that do not understand them. Starseeds may experience trauma which fragments the child or adolescent parts and keep them stuck or frozen later in life in either dependent or independent mode. This, of course, needs to be healed before a major shift in relationships can occur. Two independent individuals can have a romantic relationship that's functional, but it certainly will lack a certain chemistry. Two dependent people can relate in a romantic relationship, which might be perhaps dramatic or completely dysfunctional, or perhaps one of the partners is forced to take a more independent role. Where the relationship becomes codependent, then self-destructive patterns can be present, such as a deep sense of obligation, obsession, emotional blackmail, abuse, self-sacrifice, a kind of zero-quality